give them different pathways, and whatever fits their situation the best, we'll go with that one. It really is just trying to help them with their situation.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Quick Start Kit with everything you need to flip your first house in 30 days or less. Download it now at myquickstartkit.com.
Chris, awesome to sit down with you again.
You too.
Man, it was a little over a year. We were just talking a little over a year ago where you and I, in my Mesa house before moving to Puerto Rico, we sat down like this. We did an interview. We talked about your beginning intro into wholesaling, into real estate. It was really fascinating because at the time you were a student here in Utah. You were on the swim team. Had this packed schedule, and yet we're still doing these wholesale deals remotely in Indiana, wasn't it? Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
And from, a little over a year ago to now, you've just exploded in real estate. It's just amazing where you were a year ago to where you are today. And I'm so excited to kind of share what's happened and how you've progressed maybe so quickly. But I think it's safe to say that real estate is your thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I figured, I don't think the college thing is necessarily for me anymore, especially when real estate has kind of taken off for me like it has in the past 18 months per se since the last time we chatted.
Yeah, which is really exciting. And what I want to talk about with everybody listening here, and Chris, the audience are people that are mostly learning how to wholesale, mostly learning how to flip, but also opportunists looking for opportunities, love real estate. And what you've done is you've said, okay, well, I know real estate is my thing. I'm learning wholesaling, I'm learning flipping, but maybe there's other opportunities that also align, very similar, that you can also capitalize on.
So I think we're referencing, I ended up getting my license shortly after that video. And I found, yes, I was still consistently doing wholesale deals, but there was a lot of opportunities I was missing just because I didn't have my real estate license. And I found that it's fairly easy to find a seller who doesn't have a whole lot of pain, but that still wants to sell and to upgrade and move somewhere else with their family or whatever their situation looks like. I got my license and it's been absolutely incredible.
So let's talk about that, because I think you're absolutely right. In wholesaling, we're looking for that 5% of people that are in a distressed situation. The property's distressed, they have a financial hardship usually going on, and so they've got this motivation to sell that property at a discount, which is where wholesalers come in. We source and find those deals, then we can assign those to flippers or buy and hold investors, whatever. But in those conversations, you're mostly talking to not motivated. I like to reference it as retail, right? They want market value. And so as wholesalers, we typically think, okay, well, they want retail. That's not an opportunity. Next. And what you've done, and I've done this as well by having my real estate license for years now, is it's more like, okay, well, what's the opportunity here? How can I serve and help the seller in the best way based on their wants and needs? And then fill that need.
And I think that's really where I've focused on, is just trying to put my best foot forward on what would help the seller the most. And really a lot of wholesalers, I think, have this idea that it's not advantageous or it's not super quote unquote sexy to have your real estate license. But I mean, here where I am in Salt Lake County, at $500,000, your commission on a listing is $15,000. I feel like
at a 3%, typical 3% listing,
I think most wholesalers would take a $15,000 assignment fee.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the void that I've filled, and it's been able to absolutely catapult my volume and my income by doing that.
And you're really, I mean, guys, when we talk about how he's like running with this, you're on pace to do 20 million in revenue. With your license.
20 million in volume sales,
And that's just on the retail, that's just on the license side with your license. And you're still wholesaling because those you know how to capitalize on those opportunities.
I'll probably still do just on the side. My wholesaling's a little bit more of like a side hustle, but I'll still probably make $150,000 on the wholesale side.
You just closed a $50,000 assignment, you're telling me, just recently.
Down south in Utah, it was actually a manufactured home too, which a lot of people also overlook.
So, I mean, this is just incredible. Kind of what I tell people is, if you're making wholesaling and flipping like your main thing, then your license can be like that additional income, and using that license should give you another 6 figures in income naturally in the things you're already doing. Or like what you're doing is you're actually said, you know what? I think there's actually more opportunity on the retail listing and agency side. And then now I'm gonna, because you're talking to more people that fit that category probably. And so then you're gonna grow your income, grow your business doing listings and maybe even some buyer's agency, but then you're also super aware of the wholesale opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time I go on a listing appointment, I still always present the cash offer option. So I give them typically 3 options. I'll give them a list option, I'll give them the cash offer option, and then I'll give them a seller finance or a creative finance option.
Love that.
Just to see, I give them different pathways, and whatever fits their situation the best, we'll go with that one. It really is just trying to help them with their situation.
And you bring up a great point with the creative. You told me that as well, that you're also learning and really using creative, because that's a third solution. You have, okay, well, I want retail, I'm willing to be patient, I'm willing to go on market, do some things to get the market value. Or you know what, I want speed and convenience, and I'll take a discount for a cash offer, and I'm out. Or hey, I can stay in, I can play in a different capacity where I wait to get somewhere all of my money, and that's where creative can kind of come in.
I think it's really just about giving them choice, and they get a sense of power being able to pick what they want and what's best for them.
Yeah, and you know what's really inspiring for me, Chris, is how old are you now?
21.
21, you guys, 21. And so when I hear 21 and I see all the success you're having, I mean, you're a young guy, you decided to put school on hold so you can pursue what you feel like now is your passion and your calling. But I think sometimes people listening, I think I've been guilty of this at times, maybe you have a little bit, but we tend to want to overcomplicate things.
Yes, absolutely.
And make it feel like, I got to gain all this experience or all this knowledge to be successful at this. How have you done so amazingly well at just simplifying what this is all about?
I think I've just broken it down into the amount of contacts I need to make every day to find someone who wants to sell. I mean, that's really what it is contacts equals contracts, and it takes X amount of contacts depending on what your conversion ratio is to get a contract. So that's really the biggest thing when I'm prospecting and going on appointments, is just keeping in mind eventually somebody's going to say yes.
And when you say contacts, you mean conversations, like just quality. So I like to call it quality conversations, because you have no control over whether they say yes or no. But you do have control over how many opportunities you create where people can say yes or no.
Absolutely. And I think the other piece of the puzzle is just consistency. I think I got a lot of it from my collegiate past in athletics, but we had to show up to practice every morning. There was no question. So I show up to the phones every morning and make my calls and I do my dials. And I think just the consistency has really propelled my success.
Just really showing up.
Yeah, just showing up at a high level.
Like I remember as a wrestling athlete, like you're thinking, I got practice coming up, and you're dreading it. But if you can just get yourself there, then you'll get into it.
Yeah, you get in the flow. Yeah, you feel good.
But showing up's like the hardest part.
Absolutely, yeah. Just showing up in the office every morning and smiling and dialing at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, is half the battle. Yeah, so I remember last time we talked, I asked you that similar question, like last time I said, how were you able to do these deals as a full-time student, full-time athlete? And I remember you said the same thing. You said, I just get my set number of calls in a day. And I know that if I just make those calls, enough people are going to say yes, and I'm going to be doing deals. And it's really that simple.
It really is. That's all I've done. I haven't taken some magic pill. I just show up in the morning when I'm supposed to show up, and I do the work.
Yeah. And that's just so inspiring, because if you think about it, this isn't rocket science. It's not overly complicated. There's some simple basic steps we follow. In this implementation.
Absolutely.
And you're off to the races.
Yeah. And I really do. I think anybody who's coming from a wholesale background, which is where I started, if they just take that step and get their license, they'll be able to crush it on both fronts, because it definitely is work getting a motivated seller who has distress. But if you can just transition those efforts and add that tool to your tool belt as getting licensed, you can really do some serious damage.
Yeah, in fact, to finish up our interview here, let's kind of talk about this for a second. I'll put a link below. If you're unlicensed right now, like Chris said, both of us strongly recommend getting your license. It's gonna just open up so many more doors for you. I'll put a link to where you can actually take your pre-licensing class nationwide, so you can sign up, go through the course. Every state's gonna be a little different in the number of hours and so on. But what you have to do is you have to first get your pre-licensing, pass that, then go take your state exam, make sure you study, pass your state exam, and then from there you have to get a sponsoring broker. Once you're under the broker, you pay some fees and so on, and now you're an active real estate agent. And then you have to obviously conform to the state real estate commission and all that. Both you and I are part of Real Brokerage, which is really exciting. We're actually in the same. We're part of the same team. And you're also looking at the opportunity to grow a team. Which brings in then additional revenue. Into your business.
Absolutely.
And that's exciting too.
Yeah, just with our brokerage, there's just extreme growth, and I think it's definitely worthwhile at least going out and taking a peek at it.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll also put a link to a video I did with Colton Lindsay, and you know Colton really well, about the opportunities with Real. Because again, part of Real, not only is there the opportunities with having your license, but there's also an opportunity to revenue share in your team that you build. And I know you're building a team. You've told me you've got a handful of people now in your team. And you said that revenue's paying your mortgage, which is really fun to think about, right? And so I'm also building a nationwide team. Would love to have you be part of that. I'll put a link to a form you can fill out and talk to my team about if that's a good fit. So if you have your license, you can come over and be part of my team I'm building nationwide. If you're not licensed, go ahead and get your license. I'm telling you, it's going to be an amazing way to really add more value, add more income into what you're already doing.
Totally agree.
And that's the fun part. So Chris, I can't wait for our next interview, a year from now and hear what you're doing then. And,
Absolutely.
And it's exciting to hang out with you today and be a part of your success. And I just want to tell you that I'm so proud of everything you're doing, the inspiration you are to a lot of people that are, especially young people, that are kind of like, well, what do I do with my life? You've just jumped in, figured it out, and are doing so amazing. And you're engaged, getting married this year.
Getting married this year.
Amazing things happening.
I know, seriously, and it all really started from when I saw those first few videos back in the COVID era when I had nothing to do. So I have everything to thank for you.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad to be a small part of your success and journey. And so guys, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you on the next video.